Your favorite film is awful.
The number one complaint people moan about now with today's horror movies
Oh yeah, go on, make it. Go on.
is that the characters always make stupid decisions.
Yeah.
They fall over a bush, they do all these things. Oh, why didn't she shut the door behind her? Every character in this movie does, in my opinion, everything right, pretty much. Things go wrong, obviously, but they always make the right decisions, in my opinion, in terms of like, okay, who's infected? Let's all strap each other up and test each other's blood. Like, let's do that. Or the ending when they're both like, no, we've got to blow ourselves up. Like, even though we think we've killed it, we don't know for sure. This cannot spread. This cannot leave. And it's like, one, they're actually real heroes in that sense.
Yeah.
I know they probably can't get out here because I think they've got no forms of transport, but also in the sense of like, they don't want to make the spread, so they're willing to sacrifice themselves. Like, it's,
And I'll tell you who an unsung hero for me in the film is. I forget his name, but the main guy who smashes up the place, kills all the dogs, helicopter and that. He discovers, so 75% chance somebody could be infected. So then he goes and suddenly makes it so you can't get out of the base camp.
Yeah.
Gets rid of all transportations.
Yeah.
And then starts smashing up the communication relays and stuff. And it's like, what are you doing? He's gone crazy. It's like, no, if you think about it, that was a really smart thing.
Yeah.
And as you said, there was a self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
So he had already made his mind up that, no one's leaving.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. But I think that's just like the people moaning. I don't think you see that in horror films anymore. They do the right thing. They do the right sort of thing, you know.
Very early on, the guy who runs the dog kennels, when it goes down, he leaves he leaves the door open, and then he goes back and like shuts and locks the door.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It's
like,
almost like taking the mick out of them films that do those mistakes, and I don't think they do that. But these characters do the right thing, and I think that's what makes it even more terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it's still not really stopping them from being attacked by this monster. They're trying to do everything logically that, I mean, I could have thought of. I can't really think of anything in the film that I would have done differently in terms of like, if I was part of the characters, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
There's one thing I would have done differently.
Ooh, go on then.
Is when they lock the guy up outside, because they know someone's infected and they isolate him. And it was, and every time I watch it, I'm like, he's isolated, so he's easy to get to because when they do that, they all separate. So that would be my only point: is you've isolated someone that they can get to, and no one's really checking on that much. So why would you do that?
But other than that, I mean,
they already think that he's turned, don't they? That's why they.
Oh yeah, no, they do.
I don't think they know about the monster as strongly as he does.
But
at
that's
that point, he's just gone crazy, so they've locked him up.
No,
he's the one that,
and then he tells McCready, trust no one, and don't trust the guy, the dog kennel guy. But then it's like the dog kennel guy wasn't infected, but he had suspicions about him.
Yeah.
But the dog infected somebody else.
That's what's so good about it.
It's so great.
And what else is really good about this movie that makes it scary is that we never know. They usually show us the monster before we see the characters, in a sense of like building dread of like the monster's in this room, the characters just walked into the room.
Okay.
Whereas this is like we find out as much about the thing as the characters do as the film goes along. We find out with them, and that's what makes it scary, because you feel like you're part of the gang. You're finding out just as much information.
With the survivors,
You're figuring it out as it goes along as the characters do, and I think that's what makes it also terrifying, because we don't know for sure if that guy's gone crazy or if he actually is infected, and they don't want to make that risk. That's why they look him at. That's why I think it's a.
I mean, if you think of how the film starts, it's a Norwegian guy screaming a language no one speaks, shooting at a dog, and he accidentally shoots one of the people at the camp. And it's like, well, there's this crazy guy came out of nowhere. We're in the Antarctic, and he's attacking a dog. What's going on here?
Exactly, yeah.
So then they kill him, and it's like, oh, let's go to their camp, and it escalates from there.
Okay, so Russell's sub-Eastwood heroics hardly compensate for the absence of all characterization, while Bill Lancaster's script boasts the most illogical climax any monster movie ever had.
Right, this is brilliant for me. I actually get to speak to something that's really bothered me about film fans. People get characterization mixed up with backstory, and they are not the same thing. Character is played out through their actions in the film. Their actions in the film define, and what decisions they make define which kind of character they are. People, I don't know what it is, nowadays there's this thing of like, oh, characterization means backstory. Like, I know in The Last Jedi and stuff, people were like, we need backstory for Snoke. Like, he's not a real character.
Now he's gone.
It's like, his character was through his actions. That's how you tell. I mean, the great screenwriter David Mamet, that's what he says. He says backstory comes out of what people make of the character's actions in the film. Like, you shouldn't really sit there and have a scene where a character's telling you all about his backstory. Like, it's implied. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's not what makes the film interesting. The film is interesting is what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And what is this character? How is this character reacting to this situation? And I think that's what makes this film great. Again, we are thrown in with these characters. They do have like they're good characterization. You understand who he is. You know he doesn't really play well with people, doesn't he? He's a bit of a he comes across quite pessimistic, doesn't he, about things when he chucks in the glass of water in the in the stuff. Do you know what I mean? He's very, like he's kind of he's that classic kind of Kurt Russell. He's playing that kind of badass dude. So I would completely agree with disagree with him saying there's no characterization. I think each of them you can distinguish each character in the film from the actions that they take. They all take different actions.
I agree with you there because that'd be relevant in a story where the actions could dictate from previous experience. There's no previous experience of being isolated in the Antarctic with an alien. There's no experience for that. So even if you're a happy-go-lucky guy, you could snap and become a crazy guy. And
And I think like in the bit when he does chuck the ice into the thing, it's like it shows he doesn't give a fuck. He will do what it takes to do his thing. And that is shown later on in the film when he ties everyone up. And he's like, I don't give a fuck about what you guys think. I'm surviving.
Maybe you do too, but let's see.
Exactly. And that's what I think.
But he's also not crazy because
when
he ties people up,
he's just that's the way. Like I personally wouldn't have been as horrible to people. I'd been like, look, guys, this can't. Do you know what I mean? But that's my character. That's what characterization is. That's how he reacted to that situation. So.
But again, how many times in those films does somebody snap and it's like, oh, they'll tie everyone up, and it's like, no, you're all gonna die, I don't care. Where he was like, no, we're gonna find this thing and we're gonna kill it. So he does his own thing, but he's still for the whole sort of betterment of everyone.
For the greater good.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I just love that he starts addressing the alien. Like in that scene with the blood test. I know we can talk about that scene a lot because I think it's
Well, he even says, he goes, this thing.
He starts going so he says things I can't remember. He says something like I know it's like one of you, I know, but he's not actually talking to the people, he's talking to the thing inside. I love when they do that in films. I think Ripley does that a few times in Alien, of they're addressing the actual monster as if it can hear him and it's listening to them, sort of thing. I love that. I think that's great. I also think it's funny how I think John Carpenter, you can sort of tell which sort of horror film what he thinks is scary through the fact that in Halloween, the white mask sort of symbolises this it could be anyone thing. It's this being that's, then like we said before, the not seeing, the not knowing is more terrifying than anything. And he created that in Halloween with the blank mask. That's why it's terrifying, because it's expressionless. It's completely alien. It's different. Like in Halloween, and this is it actually could be anyone. And I think it's interesting to see his kind of style again. That's what he interested in.
Touching on that with the no thing, it's dolls. Why they're so creepy and horrors and that is because it's a human face with no emotion. So that could be why that's so scary.
Yeah, definitely.
On a psychological level, it's just blank.
No, exactly.
It's unsettling.